What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here, and today we're going to be discussing a big issue within Anthem right now. The Anthem community is up in arms. They are furious. They are threatening to boycott the game all because of this issue. So, what the heck is going on? Well, it all stems from a recent patch that hit Anthem a few days ago. Now, overwhelmingly, this patch is extremely positive. It provided a bunch of really asked for and really needed balancing changes. A bunch of super underused masterwork weapons were all buffed. A scaling was fixed for certain things within the game. For example, melee. Previously, when you ascended the endgame difficulties from Grandmaster 1 to 2 to whatever, your melee wouldn't increase. So that means if you were running a melee build, the further you tried to push into the end game, the worse and worse your build would get. This scaling issue was one of my main complaints. It really limited diversity within the game. And they addressed all of that. And the game is substantially better than it was before this patch. So what the heck went wrong? If this patch is full of very positive things, and it frankly was, why are people upset? Well, it's because of something that happened accidentally alongside this patch, and that was a tap was turned on within Anthem. Out of that tap was not water that was flowing, but rather loot. Previously, if you did a stronghold on Grandmaster 1 before this patch hit, you'd get 1, maybe 2 masterworks. That was pretty much average. But for a short period after the patch, you would get 5, 6, 7 masterworks. People were reporting masterwork numbers that weren't even heard of before this patch. Well, actually, they were heard of, because funny enough, this is actually the second time within Anthem that this loot tap was turned on. The other time came with the introduction of the Here Be Giants, a free play event for the first time. There was a small several hours window where loot again was just flowing, masterworks were dropping like crazy. I remember farming Titans there and getting like 5 masterworks and a legendary within an hour and a half-ish period. It was truly insane. But this was not intentional. Both times, this was a mistake according to Bioware, and they patched it both times. And herein lies the issue, because the community did not like this. When this loot tap was turned on, everyone was having a blast. People were enjoying themselves within Anthem. People were farming way more than they otherwise were. They were telling their friends to get back on the game. It was a really fun experience. I mean, just look at this image here. This is from the Anthem subreddit. Every single post is just people begging Bioware to keep the loot the way it was when the loot tap was turned on, to keep the drop rates flowing. And Bioware ignored all of this and nerfed the loot again. So this is why people are upset. So upset, in fact, that yesterday's video on the patch was getting disliked from people who did not bother to actually watch the video. They just thought I was against them, because I mentioned loot had gotten better, because it undeniably did. Along with this patch, Bioware removed the lower rarities once you hit level 30. So the overall quality of loot has indeed improved, unless you're talking about this small window that was unintentional. So guys, disagree with me all you want, but at least know what you're disagreeing with. Like, come on. Anyways, I'm actually, despite all the people getting mad at me in the comment section, I'm on their side. I 100% think that the loot in this game, that the amount of loot that you get, that the quality of loot that you get should be turned up. There is nothing worse in a loot-based game than farming and getting nothing. It makes your desire to play go down, down, down. If there's a graph, it would be farming, and it's just constantly going down and down and down until you eventually get off. And it spikes when you get loot you want. And then it goes down again, and it spikes again. As long as it can keep spiking relatively consistently, you have people still playing your game. If people feel a sense of hopelessness when it comes to loot, like, why would you bother to play a game that makes you feel hopeless? But honestly, right now in Anthem, sometimes that's the case. If you're farming GM2, like for me, I'll often farm GM2 free play, and if I'm opening like 6 or 7 world event chests and I get no masterworks, I'm looking to play another game already. I'm like, well, maybe Destiny 2 will be better, maybe Division 2 will be better, right? Like, I'm not going to stay on this game that's giving me absolutely nothing, especially because, now, the counterpoint to this may be, oh, you're going to make the game too casual if you do this. If you make loot drop everywhere, if masterworks are more readily available and on the ground master difficulties, and you're doing something like a stronghold and you're getting like 4, 5, 6 masterwork loot pieces, well, the game's going to get too easy, it's going to be too casual friendly, everyone's going to be kitted up. But that's not really the case, and the reason being is because getting loot in Anthem matters for a short time. When you first start getting masterworks, when you get to level 30, you really are just filling up all your gear with masterworks, and then you can start pushing into GM1. But really, beyond this narrow window, getting masterworks does not matter. Getting the right masterworks does. There is massive deviation in the quality of masterworks you can get in the game. You can get guns. I have one that come with like 200% increased weapon damage. In fact, I've seen a legendary weapon that came with like 150% increased gun damage and 150% increased physical damage on the same roll. So 300% increased damage overall. That's insane. I've seen a fireball for the storm come with 225% elemental damage. These are absurd values, doubling, tripling the power level of these loot pieces. But you can also get the exact same masterworks, even legendaries, with 25% increased elemental damage. No increase to gun damage, but rather an increase to reload speed or shield or whatever. So because you have such trash rolls, and then astronomically, literally tripling or above the power level good rolls, and so much in between, you really do need to get a lot of masterworks and a lot of legendaries even before you start getting actual quality loot that can help you push into Grandmaster 2 and Grandmaster 3 especially. Almost no one is in Grandmaster 3 because to do that you really do need those loot pieces that are coming with these 200% increase or more rolls. So when you do have this loot tap on, you're rewarding players for playing. They feel like their time is valued. They come out of a stronghold with actual loot, and they're not ascending that quickly. It's not actually making the game incredibly casual, it's making the game more fair and more desirable to actually keep spending time in. Because again, they are getting all these masterworks, but most of them don't matter. Most of them they're just deleting. They're looking for those god rolls to really help them ascend the Grandmaster difficulties. As it is now, you are just stuck in Grandmaster 1 and 2 for so long until you luck out and get one god roll legendary out of however many hours of playing to finally push your build forward. And it's just too much. Masterworks and legendaries are too rare considering their massive variability. There was another patch recently that was supposed to increase the consistency of masterworks, make them more likely to come with these desirable rolls, but there's still such incredible value. Again, you can get a masterwork that has plus 20% gun damage and one with plus 150. That is such a colossal difference that you need to be thrown a lot of masterworks to get not only the thing you're looking for, but a good roll. And I totally understand why people are upset by this. I wish Bioware would reconsider this loot nerf, and I think that maybe it shouldn't go to the absolute 100% level where the loot top was turned on. Like, if that's too much, maybe halfway in between that and where it is now, right? Bioware, you don't have to make this colossal change all in one, just get closer to where the community was having a ton of fun. But even then, even saying that you don't have to go all the way, why not just go all the way? Anthem is not in the greatest state right now. I think it gets a lot of unnecessary hate. It's really funny watching Destiny 2 players, which had a terrible launch, hate on Anthem, and, you know, Bungie had Destiny 1 to focus on and look at all the failures and still made even bigger failures in Destiny 2. Like, it's funny, people don't get the irony of making fun of Anthem for a botched launch if they're a Destiny 2 player. That whole issue aside, there's something fun about Anthem. I'm still enjoying playing it. It is fun farming, but This is really not the best time to piss off the community, Bioware. You don't have a ton of Anthem players left. Do you really want to go against what all of them want? Like, that cannot be healthy for the game. Give Anthem a more Diablo-style loot system, where it's throwing a ton of loot at you, and you are just trying to find the best rolls. This whole barely any masterwork drops, getting one masterwork for a GM1 stronghold, this has got to change. Especially when you consider upcoming this month and next month and next month, according to the 90-day DLC plan that Bioware released, we're getting more masterworks, more loot every single month. So that means there's even larger of a loot pool of masterworks and therefore legendaries in the game. So if they introduce a new amazing assault rifle in the game and everyone wants it, and your chances of getting literally that assault rifle is extremely low. The loot pool is massive, and you don't just get a weapon, you get a masterwork engram essentially, which can be anything. It can be a weapon, it can be a gear piece, it can be a component. There's so wide of a loot pool that you're trying to narrow down specific gear. You really do need a lot of masterworks to be rewarded to make the system work. So again, if they're planning on increasing it even, you even more so need to emphasize increasing the drop rates. So again, those are my thoughts on the issue. Bioware, this is not the time to take a principled stance against being stingy on the loot system. Open that tap again, let players enjoy themselves. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it interesting, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Anthem content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.